Hey beauties, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about self-sabotage. Someone requested a video, and for a little while I was wondering, what would be the best pathway to addressing self-sabotage? Normally I would think about focusing on self-love and self-acceptance. But today I had a big aha, and I realised that self-sabotage really only comes about, at least for me, but I think this is probably more widespread, comes about when I'm not forgiving myself. So perhaps I've done something less than perfectly, or I've made a mistake, or I've done something that I'm not entirely happy with. And in that moment of not forgiving myself, I move into the world of self-sabotage, because subconsciously I'm telling myself that I don't deserve whatever it is I was moving towards. So I thought that today I'd offer you some clearing statements for self-forgiveness. So my suggestion is to speak these statements aloud in your own voice. So you may want to wait to do the clearing statements until you are in a quiet and private place. But if you come across this video when you're in a public area, you can still listen to the clearing statements and repeat them internally, because they'll still have a lot of strength. But you'll probably find that speaking them out loud is even more powerful, so I do recommend that. You will notice that during the video I close my eyes to really tune in and feel what the clearing statements want to be. So you're welcome to stay focused on the video, but you can also close your eyes to allow your awareness to go within. And one last suggestion is that as you're speaking the clearing statements, really try to feel them and own the words as your own, because that makes a huge difference, rather than just kind of repetition that's mindless or not completely engaged. So the deeper that you can really feel those words in your own body and own that experience, the deeper you'll find that the clearing statements go. So just taking a deep full breath and releasing, making sure that you're comfortable, that you can really rest, because with each clearing statement you'll probably notice the body opening and releasing as it literally lets go of tension that's been held in the mind through this language. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable to really receive the benefit of that. And if you're having trouble sleeping, I really, really recommend doing these clearing statements as you go to sleep. They are profoundly relaxing and clearing. So if you have been having difficulty with that, you're welcome to just try using these clearing statements as you go to bed and see what happens. So just repeat after me in your own voice. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way, that have taught me not to forgive myself. And between each clearing statement, just take a deep, full breath so that you can allow the statement to go deep down into your body. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that cause me to believe that I am not allowed to make mistakes. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that have taught me to believe that not forgiving myself will cause me to do better or be better or act better next time. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that cause me to believe that the tension I feel from the lack of self-forgiveness is positive or healthy. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that have caused me to cling to non-forgiveness. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that have caused me to believe that if I close my heart to myself in the face of something that I perceive myself to have done wrong, I will definitely do better next time. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that have caused me to believe that I do not deserve my own self-forgiveness. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that have caused me to believe that not forgiving myself is deserved or is the right way to treat myself. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that have caused me to believe that forgiving myself will just cause me to make more mistakes in the future. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that have caused me to believe that it's dangerous for me to forgive myself because I really cannot trust myself. I clear all the words I've ever heard, ever thought, ever spoken, ever read, ever been exposed to in any way that have caused me to withhold forgiveness from myself in order to force myself to do better or be better or be different. Just bring your hands to rest over your heart as you say right deep into the core of your being, I forgive you. I forgive you. I'm sorry. And I forgive you. And then repeating a few affirmations just to make sure that the message really lands. I always deserve my own forgiveness. It is completely safe for me to make mistakes, whether I learn from them or not. It is completely safe for me to forgive myself and give myself another chance. I completely love and accept myself exactly as I am, with all my flaws, with all my humanness. I forgive myself for all the mistakes that I perceive myself to ever have made. I forgive myself and I set myself free. I am safe and all is well. Just taking a couple of deep, full breaths. And as we come to the end of this video, if you want to stay in this quiet, peaceful space that the clearings have evoked, you're welcome to stay here. If you feel that there's more that still wants to be cleared, you can either return the video to the beginning and do the statements a second time, or you can play with the clearing statement with your own endings. Whatever you feel that you need to clear, you can trust that instinctively. And if you need help with figuring out what clearings you need, if this is an arena for you that you struggle with and you'd like support, just reach out. I have a really helpful questionnaire that you can use to get clarity on where to look. Namaste.